Hey, so real quick, end of day 5. It's about 11 p.m. and I am going to go to bed as soon as I'm done with this because I need to be up at 4 a.m. There will be a tuk-tuk arriving at the front gate of the hotel around that time to bring me to meet Ifa so that she and I can go over to Angkor Wat and see the sunrise there. Um, we have to go across town to buy tickets. There's only one place that you can buy them, so apparently they've put it as far away from Angkor Wat as humanly possible, which really sucks because I chose this hotel based on its proximity to Angkor Wat. I thought that since it was a 40-minute walk from my hotel to the temple, that I would just walk there and see the temple and then leave. But apparently, no, it's much more complicated than that. You have to go into town, buy a ticket. You can only buy a ticket on the day of, not the day before. The ticket office opens at 5 a.m. The sunrise is at 6 a.m. So everybody races to the ticket office, queues up, gets their tickets, and then races over to the temple to see the sunrise there. And it's not just like one little temple. Apparently, it's a huge cluster of like 5 giant temples and then like a dozen smaller ones, all in this huge area. And they recommend that you stay here for 3 days so you can see it all and pay like $190 for a 3-day tour. We're not going to do that. We are going to, I've downloaded an app and it's like a free audio guide that works with your GPS. So like wherever you happen to be standing around the temples, it will tell you something interesting about where you are and then direct you to something else. It's got really good reviews and it's free, so we're going to try that. But we do still have to pay tuk-tuk drivers to take us around to the ticket office and to the temple. And she's in a hostel way across town. She's like 2 miles away from me right now. So didn't plan this well. We did not plan this well, but we're going to make it work. P.S. I don't know, a tuk-tuk is like a little moped, a motorbike, with a sort of like rickshaw attached to the back. It's like a little covered wagon with 2 benches in it, and it's the mode of transportation around here. And you haggle over everything here. So, you know, the tuk-tuk driver, you'll say where you want to go, and he'll say, okay, how much do you want to pay me? You know, and you say $3, and he'll say $4, you know, and you're like, all right, $3.50 or whatever. Actually, most of the rides I have taken so far have been about $2. The tuk-tuk rates do go up after sunset when everybody wants to go out to the night market to eat, kind of like Uber. That when the demand goes up, the rates go up. So, yeah, before I get into what we did this evening, first of all, I learned this is what the humidity down here does to my hair. Remember the last video? It was nice and straight and blown dry. Yeah, I've been outside for a few hours. This is me for the rest of my vacation, apparently. Also, those rabid packs of dogs, I may have exaggerated about them. I read so much online about not petting dogs in Southeast Asia because rabies is so prevalent. But apparently here in these neighborhoods, these dogs are people's pets. They're ugly, they're mangy, they're covered in fleas, and they don't eat dog food, they eat garbage. But they're tame. They curl up and you can pet them. I wouldn't pet them, I haven't pet them, but the kids play with the dogs and they're fine. So apparently me being terrified of all the dogs in the neighborhood was a little bit dramatic. But better safe than sorry. So yeah, there's a ton of dogs everywhere. It's really sad to see them eating garbage and just sort of skulking around and trying to get out of the sun. But I keep telling myself they're like a different species. They're not real dogs. They're like, you know, Cambodian dogs. I don't know. It helps. Yeah, so like I said, I was going to go out, you know, and talk to people. Everyone here is super friendly. They only know the word hello, though. It's the only English word they know. So like whole families of people will like come out of their, every single family here has a market attached to the front of their house. So the families will come out of their markets and just hello, hello. And the children will run after you in the street yelling, hello, hello. And you say hello, hello back, you know, and I say, how are you? And they just, ha, 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 ha. They don't know what that means. But they're super, super friendly. I got a little bit lost on my way to IFA's hostel, and I had this group of like 12 people who just happened to be sitting around a picnic table drinking beers, like stop and ask me to come dance with them. Like they didn't speak a word of English, but they turned their radio way up and they started dancing, and like a couple of the ladies came and danced over to me and they were like, huh? And I was like, oh, actually I'm lost. And I pointed on my phone, to the map to where I needed to be, and they gave me directions and sent me on my way and said, hello, as I walked away, and I said, hello, thank you. Super friendly. At one point, I stepped in some of that like awful clay mud stuff, and it sucked my flip-flop right off my foot, and all I could think about was all the dogs that are like pooping in the street all day, every day, and it was like I was ankle deep in this like gluey clay mud. So I was a little distraught because I was pretty far from my hotel on my way to IFA's, and I was now covered in mud. So I was looking around, and one of the markets had like a big table full of bottled water that they were selling. So I stopped by and I was kind of looking around, and the gentleman came out and was like, what are you looking for, miss? And I pointed to my foot, and he was like, oh. And he called to his wife, and she came out and looked at my foot, and then she said, you come here. And she brought me into her house and let me rinse off my flip-flop and my foot in her sink. And then she was like, it's all over the back of your legs too. You must have gotten splashed. So she helped me wash the mud off my legs and then just sent me on my way, hello. And I said, thank you, hello, thank you. So tonight we went into the night market to eat, and it's crazy. There's all these shops that sell, kitschy things, dresses and posters and candle holders and stuff, but also a lot of really unique things. I got some gifts for people. Some really strange stuff. And then there are carts that make food, street food. So we had basil crocodile, fried in this like delicious sauce, and fried ice cream, which is actually not what we think of as fried ice cream. It's not like ice cream rolled in batter and then dropped in a fry later. No, you've seen it on YouTube. It's like this square metal thing, and it's so cold that when you pour the cream on it, it freezes immediately. So they have a ton of different like fruits and flavorings and stuff, and you tell them what you want, they mix it all together in a little cup, they pour it on the thing, and then the guy uses 2 paint scrapers and just artfully mixes it around and scrapes it up until it's like a frozen fluffy concoction, and then at the end he spreads it all flat in like a rectangle and then rolls it up with the paint scrapers into these beautiful rolls and arranges them in a cup and then sprinkles toppings over it. So I had Nutella banana with Oreo topping, and Ifa had mango banana with condensed milk topping, and they were both so good. And then as we were eating that, I saw a couple walk by eating snakes on sticks, and I was like, where did you get that? And we saw this guy was rolling a cart around with barbecued snakes, scorpions, crickets, mealworms, and something else. I don't know. But, and there's a big sign on his cart that says photos 50 cents. So you can't even take a picture of the stuff in the cart without paying him. But I was like, how much for one of the things on a stick? And he was like, it's $1. And I'm like, if I give you $1 for a barbecued snake, can I also take a picture of your stand, of your cart? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he posed for the photo with me, and I ate the barbecued snake, and it was actually really delicious. Like, they must marinate it in something super sweet. So the consistency of the snake itself is like a bacon. It's almost exactly like the consistency of bacon, but it has like a tropical sweet marinade. And the only like really weird, gross part is when you get to the snake's stomach. It's like a little mushy gushy, and it tastes kind of like bitter. Other than that, it was actually pretty good. I would eat it again. And then as I was eating it, another dude walked by with a scorpion on a stick, and I was like, how's that? How's the scorpion? And he was like, how's the snake? And I was like, do you want to trade? So we traded, and I got a bite of his scorpion, and he got a bite of my snake. And the scorpion had the same, like a similar marinade on it, but it just sort of tasted like peanut shells. I ate one of the little claws off of it, and it just was like peanut shells, very crunchy in my mouth and kind of sweet. The only thing was when I pulled it away after taking the bite, like I looked at it, and there's like fur. Scorpions have like this hair that grows out of their carapace, so that was interesting. I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I ate a scorpion. I did that. I handed it back to the gentleman. I'm like, thank you very much. He's like, I like the snake. I'm like, isn't it good? So that was fun. And then, yeah, Ifa and I just walked around and did some shopping, and then realized that if we had to be up at 4 a.m. to go to Angkor Wat, we should probably get back to our respective hotels, her hostel, my hotel, and we got terribly lost. So the streets here have numbers, but only when you look on a map. There's no street signs in the entire city, and they're not a grid. They're just, there's no rhyme or reason. Some are little dirt roads, some are paved highways, some are alleys that lead to dead ends. Like, it's just, and there's only like 8 different kinds of stores. There's like one kind of pharmacy, like imagine just one CVS, like no Walgreens, no anything else. Like every pharmacy is a CVS, right? So there's one kind of pharmacy, there's one kind of mini mart, there's one kind of sunglass shop. There's like 8 different kinds of stores, and they're all identical, and they're just sprinkled throughout the city. So it's not even like you can be like, oh, we took a left at this pharmacy, because there are like 11 other pharmacies that are identical to this pharmacy within like a 10-block radius. They're just everywhere. So it's really easy to get horrendously lost. So we got horrendously lost on the way back to Ifa's hostel, and the batteries on our phones both died. So that was a little bit of an adventure, trying to ask people on the street if they had heard of her hostel. There's a million hostels in this city, a million hostels. Like every other building is a hostel with a restaurant attached. So it's like, for someone to have heard of that specific hostel is pretty miraculous. So we did manage to find it, but that's why we got back so late. We were going to be responsible and go to bed early, and got a little lost. So then I grabbed a tuk-tuk from her hostel to my hotel, because again, we're 2 miles apart. And I just asked the tuk-tuk driver when he dropped me off, I'm like, now that you know where my hotel is, can you be back here at 4 o'clock in the morning and bring me back to the hostel? And he said, yeah, no problem. And I asked him like 3 times, like, you're sure you'll be here? You're sure you'll be here? And he's like, yeah, how much you pay me? And I was like, I'll give you $5, dude. Just make sure you're here. So he's going to come back in the morning, which means I have to be up and be ready. And it sounds like it's going to be an all-day thing. So I'm going to repack my backpack real quick. And when I leave, I'm just going to ask the front desk if I can leave the backpack with them so that I can only have my purse with me during the day tomorrow. But yeah, our tour is all booked tomorrow. We booked a tuk-tuk to take us from temple to temple, because they're really far apart from each other, I guess. So yeah, it was a big, long, sort of confusing process making this happen, but it's going to happen. I'm going to make sure my phone is fully charged. I'm going to make sure that my backup battery is fully charged, and we are going to go see Angkor Wat tomorrow. I am super, super pumped. Also really relieved to know that the dogs wandering around are lovely creatures. They're really very nice. I'm still not going to pet them, but I mean, they're nice dogs. Everybody here is super nice. I'm super excited. All right, off to bed. Good night.